We may.
I hope not. I want a game. I want a free game.
Oh, there'll be a game.
No,
There's always time.
A competitive. Okay, that's actually. I don't know why I'm saying this to you. You'll find a way.
We can always find a way. The Nico going to be the first ban here as we jump into the draft for game number 2. And the Azir are going to be taken away once again on the red side. Does feel like Azir, Yunara, and Pantheon are our red side kind of obligatory bans, but the Keria focus is coming in pretty hard here by HLE, understandably so because he's been playing so well, but it does mean a lot of things are going to be up and available. I think an Aurora ban would fit here, get Zeus on a Gwen that isn't going to be answerable by something like a Rumble, and then you're kind of off to the races. Otherwise, you get Pantheon first pick, and you feel really good about that.
Wondering what we are going to see when it comes to the Aurora and then an early Gwen pickup wouldn't surprise me. The Kruglord did really dominate in the previous game.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, I feel like the head-to-head was actually very competitive, and then Keria ganked once.
Yep.
And then it was done. We are going to get the prio pick of the Gwen here for Zeus. As you highlighted, the Pantheon did in fact come through, so it'll be what? Xin Zhao... It's Doran, so maybe Xin Zhao Jax? Could see
like
that. They can also just go towards a mid lane pick. Taliyah is open. So Taliyah Xin Zhao, I think, is a very inoffensive, doesn't give anything away type of opener. Picking up the Corki would be interesting. Is technically a flex, but I'm going to be real. I feel like Gen.G is the only team that actually gets away with that.
Yeah.
I think that this should just be a pickup for Guma. Corki's been great. Very versatile pick that doesn't really have a lot of the losing matchups that we have seen. And it's going to be Ryze instead, and that preemptively also makes it Taliyah worse if that was what HANWHA wanted to go towards, because we've seen Ryze picked into Taliyah about 1,000,000 times.
Yep, it is one of the go-tos. I like it a lot more than the Ahri that we've seen running around, despite the fact that Showmaker had such an incredible performance on it the last time we saw the matchup. Xin Zhao, the double circles, looking to be a consideration here for HLE. Understandably so. But Peanut still pondering this, does finally lock it away. And now, what is Zeka going to be doing? Looks like more circles are going to be added. Some spherical. But instead, he's just going to opt into the matchup. I think Taliyah is just very strong, especially when paired with a Xin Zhao that can follow up pretty comfortably. As there is the Jax that we all expected. Doran has been fantastic on this pick throughout most of his career, but I think even his laning phase is kind of terrifying now as well, as Doran has just gotten better.
He's just been amazing. He's just been, it's been full-on domestic Doran.
Yep.
To the point where, the All-Pro was mentioned earlier as well. I think that's actually a really interesting conversation between him and Keen right now, and it might come down to that final series.
Oh, you talking about maybe the Saturday showdown?
Oh, you know we're doing some preemptive setup work for that one. Going to be amazing to see what is going to come through there. Now, expecting a lot of AD carry bans. The Jarvan ban on the side of HANWHA does make sense, given that with the Lucian ban, we're rapidly thinning out the amount of AD carries that like to play into Jarvan.
Yep.
Jarvan is kind of an AD carry's worst nightmare. And then obviously T1 have already locked in one of the ones that does do well, which is the Corki. So outside of that, we might see more support picks as both teams have locked in most of the top side. And then it's jungler for HANWHA, AD carry for T1. So the rel also taken away makes me think, do they want to go towards what, like...
Alistar.
Yeah, I think that is the... But then I don't know if you ban the rel necessarily. Which is what that gives me a little bit of pause. I'm like, do you want to go towards like a Leona or something?
I think
sure.
Like HLE probably want to ban Alistar and then hope that Taliyah is enough to disincentivize T1 from picking the Rakan. Or you just leave Alistar up and hope that they pick that one instead. We'll see what they do decide to do, because the Trundle was what they decided to take away from Oner.
I do think the Trundle ban is warranted, given how good it is into Xin Zhao specifically.
Yep.
Xin Zhao doesn't have an easy way around the pillar, and Trundle does kind of just chomp him.
He chomps.
As that is a champion that when it comes to Oner, I don't even think that he's not that great. It's just what Oner does for T1. Skarner, I'm not going to be super excited about. We've seen the matchup a good amount into Xin Zhao. Makes sense there. Xin Zhao can't really friend the Skarner he can with a lot of other AD carries, but Oner you always want to see on facilitators, right? And
Yeah.
this is very much more of a Gen G angle. We've seen Canyon play this a ton. I think that they've been the only team that has actually made this look really good.
I think Gideon has been okay on it as well. Another one of our sort of tank junglers.
At the beginning of
Yeah.
I would
a while back.
Yeah, back when Gideon Grubbs was all the rage.
Indeed.
I do remember that as Leona. You know, it's not super exciting. It also, even though I don't think it hard counters anymore, kind of disincentivizes the recon further. But it's going to just be the Lights Alistair, which does make sense. Does mean that the early laning levels are a little iffy, and even into a Talia. Looks like Keria is still more than happy, and I think they can use a good amount of teamfight CC because...
Yep, let's see whether we can get it as we jump onto the rift for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the rift for game number 1 already. A little bit of biffo going on here in the mid lane, but otherwise not too much is going to come of it. And Zeka is just going to go back to get that, 100 health back up again. As Keria not going to quite find the second Q.
So I'm actually
going to deliver a headbutt. Yeah.
I'm actually expecting an action-packed game.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to get this out of the way while we still have time.
Okay, please do.
How was your high school time?
I actually quite enjoyed high school.
Yeah, it was
you know,
good.
I feel like high school is an interesting conversation where you'll either you liked it or you absolutely hated it. You know, I feel like that's the conversation you mostly had. I actually had a great time.
Great
in high
time.
School.
Nice.
I didn't do a lot of work.
Oh, I wouldn't have expected you to.
No, but I was very good
You
at
had a good time.
socializing. Yeah.
That
And
also does not come off as surprising.
and it was frustrating because it kind of because I just sort of breezed by and everything was just
you were
kind of
coasting.
fine.
And then you got to, classic.
And then I got to my first year at uni. I'm like, what do you have to actually do work? I never even learned how to study. I just sort of turned up for the test.
Classic.
And so that it was a bit of a rude awakening. So make sure that you do some study and learn how to do that because it's a good skill to have if you ever want to get a degree or something like that. If you want to be an esports commentator, there's not as many degrees in that. Although there are some things that you can do. I studied TV and film for a little while.
Nice.
To help with my presentation
Yeah, there's
skills.
stuff like vocal coaching.
Yep. Although that's more of like a...
Well, that's when
Yeah.
you actually... But it can't hurt for any...
Oh, no, it's definitely a good idea. I just wouldn't call it necessarily learning. It's more like doing like a first aid training or something like that. Keeping yourself healthy. Learning to speak from the diaphragm,
Yeah.
as it were.
You know the pronunciation upsets me, even though I know you're doing it on purpose, but that's okay.
I just needed to make sure that people knew how to spell it as well.
So that they could Google it and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
It's like draft. You know, have you noticed it like when so?
Hold up.
Okay, there's going to be a bit of a flick here in this mid lane.
No.
We'll go back to the draft.
Do not get this.
Don't worry.
Do not get distracted.
So it's a different draft. So DROUGHT is draft. But people think it's pronounced draught. And it's just not. It's just a dumb English word. But
really?
Yep. It's like in a reference to like beer, like draft beer.
Okay.
For example. So you could like a draft of shadows in a video game or something like that.
I had no
is
idea.
like in a little bottle.
How did we get here again?
Saying
Oh yeah,
words
because
wrong.
we're talking about diaphragm.
Yeah. Diaphragm? What's that?
Oh, Atlas? Come on.
I'm going to take a draught of pronunciation so that I can know exactly how to say words properly.
Yeah.
Well, Keria is going to get aggressed on here momentarily as Delight goes for a little bit of a ride with his headbutt. Not really going to find too much more there, though.
But I'm glad you had a good time.
Yep.
It's nice.
Yeah.
A lot of rollerblading.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of playing video games.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Played a lot of Donkey Konga back then.
Of course you did.
Game was so incredibly good.
Is that the one, the rhythm game? Or
Yeah, the rhythm with the bongo drums.
Yeah, I played with the bongo drums, the platformer.
Oh, yeah, Jungle Beat.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that game was pretty
good
cool.
Stuff.
I just wanted to go back. Like, I wanted more songs in that game.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
no,
it wasn't like Guitar Hero where like the modded
They just kept
theme
adding.
was just like kind of massive as well.
Yeah, no, for me it was interesting because I had my first couple of years, which weren't so great, but then I had to redo a year because it was Wrath of the Lich King. So you know how it goes.
Heck yeah.
So then I had to read it, and then after that was great. I had a really good time. Is Doran? already picking up his first plate here. Also feeling great about his, what would be, in levels, what would be the high school equivalent in League? Is it like when you get your ultimate to like level, like mid-game?
What?
So if you have, they're not ages, right? But if you had...
Well, Faker is in a bit of trouble. He has to flash, and then the flash follow from Zeka is too good! And he'll be able to secure first blood and a solo kill. Not enough to drag them out of the gold deficit that they're in, but definitely a good start.
Maybe as enthralled as we were with the conversation, kind of getting caught off guard there. Zeka just gets the solo bolo.
That is not the Zeka that we've been seeing.
But that's big. That already sets up HANWHA Life for a game that hopefully goes better than the last one.
Keria goes in, doesn't quite find the grand entrance, but let's have a look at this one more time from Zeka's perspective. He just finds the shove.
And then sitting on only a tier, but still has the damage, making sure that there's no jungler to ruin his day. Actually, they're right there, frets the Q in between the two minions.
Nice up here.
Very, very nice. Rise no flash is all that he says at the end of that one. Knows that it may have won the battle. It's not going to win them the war, though.
As we do have to pay a little bit of attention here before we get back to the, like, what levels corresponds to what era in a champion's life. Like, Zeus is getting kind of pummeled. This counter pick of the Jax really paying off here so far, already sitting at a, like, 350 gold lead. He was proxying, by the way, which is why he's having a pretty decent tempo lead. Although it does look like Zeus was able to clear out most of the wave with relative decent timing. Not too far behind, but he still ends up bleeding a lot of minions.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Gwen should really be having this much of a bad time in the matchup. As Peanut looking to move over, as Faker is going to be here. And Peanut does get put in prison, but Oner not really interested in following up on that one. And with Talia moving over, it is a scary time. Oner might be in a little bit of trouble as Zeus is going to make the first roam, but there is the knockup onto two. Oner looks at the angle, doesn't quite get it, as now the needlework is coming through. Another shove! He's going to come down from the grave, and he's got Zeus trying to find Keria here. The flash follow immediately, but the grand entrance was already right there. Still, the Jax goes down, and Oner isn't even going to be able to take down the Gwen. HLE, a dominating first skirmish.
And we haven't finished our conversation yet, or Zeus pops off in the skirmish, unmatched. No one paying any attention to the Gwen here, as we're going to take another look. At first, it looked like the turn from T1 actually ends up working out, but here, Oner doesn't actually catch the Xin Zhao. He catches Zeka instead, but Zeka was relatively full health, so it actually takes him a good amount of time.
Oh
and
my
then you
God,
can
that's
see
sniff.
HANWHA Life was actually considering backing off, but Zeus says no, keeps it going, and then even stays alive there because he gets a 4-stack snip onto Oner with his Conqueror stacked, able to stay alive. And I think that was really necessary for HANWHA Life in this series, because if they lose that skirmish as well, it might be a mental battle that is too hard to fight from that point on, right? But instead, a lot of goal onto the right members.
Let's see whether this was also like a take a year off because of Wrath of the Lich King. You know, that might be the situation here for T1.
Hey, it was also,
And you still finished high school, so it was fine, right?
I did, yeah. Also, I had skipped a grade when I was like in elementary school, so it actually was really funny. Me and my best friend got back into the same grade because of that.
Oh, that's actually
so it actually, balanced out nicely.
There you go.
It was good, yeah. Second half of high school was great. Oh, wonderful time.
Also, taking a year off for Wrath of the Lich King is pretty big.
Well, we still went to school.
That was the year after I graduated.
Ah, nice.
So that was pretty big.
Yeah, classic.
That was my first expansion as well. Maybe that was the biggest issue with the whole studying situation, was the beginning of World of Warcraft.
Even back then, we were making the same mistake.
There we go. All right, Keria Gumayusi will be able to clear out this wave pretty comfortably as Doran and Zeus just whacking on minions. But Zeus feeling a whole lot better in this matchup, as you can see. Still down a little bit, but that last team fight certainly helping out. 600 gold going to be the approximate advantage here for HLE. And I think a lot of eyes are going to be turning towards Zeka in this game after that first blood, picking up a couple of assists in that last fight as well. And even though he fell down, still 500 gold in the lead on this Talia that has been a pretty highly coveted pick.
Yeah, and for Zeka in particular, I think it's a big deal because We've been seeing some of the kind of old narratives creep up with Zeka, being like he can only play melees. I think this summer he's just hasn't looked good on anything. I don't really think it's champion pool related, because we have Zeus maybe in some trouble.
Yeah.
Does have the snip and the ult, so it looks like he's going to be fine.
Yeah, but just does a donut and leaves.
Because I think in 2024, and 2023 were kind of the years where he started adding more champs to a champ pool, and he just looked good on everything.
I mean, his Talia and Azir were already just kind of good.
Well, but that's,
even in 2022.
Yeah, but I think that he still, even those, he still upgraded. And it wasn't quite the level where his, his Akali and his Silas would be, but or Yone, but it was still a lot better. But I think that this year he has just really struggled in general. Isn't really a champion pool thing. So for him to have a good game on Talia would be a big deal now. The gold lead is not, we're not even remotely to the point where we'd start talking about anything off topic. We would never.
Oh, Light just going to...
Right, Atlas?
Yeah.
No.
No. It's not really about that. We're very serious professionals here at the LCK.
Yes.
And we would
that's what we
never
are, that's what we are known
deviate.
for. I argue the English broadcasts are constant level of high,
it's just high tier analysis and staying on point.
Always
is really it's our calling.
Yes.
I in fact really struggle when things get off topic. So I really appreciate you keeping us in the zone.
You are a stickler for structure and sheets.
Yeah.
Follow the sheet.
Hi, I'm Brendan Valdez.
If you don't get the reference, watch Pog State. It's great.
You certainly need to.
No?
Doran might need to also do a bit of watching. He does have some teammates.
There are there's both Rakan and Skarner.
Yeah.
And HANWHA Live's like, I don't know about this one. Maybe Zeus an issue?
Yeah, it does find the counter-strike. There's the grand entrance as well. And Zeus, I mean, Delight's there to watch, but he is just dead. No making his way out of that one.
And that's a repeat of game number 1.
Yeah.
As it was HANWHA Live looking for a setup, they decide to abandon the play. Peanut, or I think it was Peanut, or maybe it was Zeka, already was gone. Delight was still in the area, but it's just Keria shows up. And that's the end of it. We just get a kill onto Zeus, another gold lead. Back into harder to deal with territory, approaching 600.
80 carries parked by themselves in the mid lane at this point in time as well, which is why you see Alistair sort of hanging around the Gwen. He teleported back down towards the bottom side. We'll see whether Doran does pull the trigger on the same thing, but I don't think he needs to. It's a big wave.
That's Triforce done. That's such a big spike for Jax. Actually, a champion now is Faker.
Yeah, could be in a bit of trouble. Does have the grand entrance there from Keria to try and peel, but still HLE are on the march. Oner looking to make his way over, and they will see the Scorpion and look to back away. Or will they? Looking for maybe a bit of an angle, because even Peanut is doing a lot of damage with that first item completion. And he has a huge CS lead as well over the Skarner that does struggle to farm the jungle all that quickly. Also just can't feel safe as much as Xin Zhao can in the earlier stages of the game. Yeah,
Peanut's been one of the other players on HANWHA that has really had a rough go. Really, I think starting that reverse sweep.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think a lot for HANWHA, we kind of go and look back to that as a turning point. The reverse sweep from Gen G in the road to MSI, the subsequent 3-0 by T1, and the team just hasn't really looked the same since. But thus far, on the Xin Zhao, great early skirmish, has sundered Sky, and we have seen it really Lucid, I think, show off how truly disgusting it can be.
Yeah, Lucid and Oner, I think, really do epitomize it.
With Oner, I think mechanically, he is the cleanest Lee Sin we have. With Lucid, it felt more like a madman taking out like a lot of anger.
Yeah, or just abusing the fact that this item's pretty broken, and he certainly did that.
He was berserking.
Yes.
He was going in on everything. I think Oner is generally a lot more restrained, but then when he does go in, it always looks very, very good. But yeah, for Peanut, would be big if he can continue this early momentum, but T1 still insanely well-scaling opposition. They have a really big threat in the side lane. They have good side lane support with the Rise as well. And then Corki obviously is going to be looking to play the game from 2 items onwards, as Zeus did know Faker was there, but he is phase rush, so...
Yeah, just runs away.
Just runs away.
Still going to be able to interrupt the back, and so that is certainly going to be good. As Viper does look for a W on the Keria here, as when it comes lightning, Peanut able to lock down the crab, and Viper takes a whole bunch of damage here from a big one out of Gumayusi. They are even on items, but Gumayusi does have some free socks that he did manage to put together. There's now possible fight around the Herald. Could be coming on through here. We are one objective away from feats of strength here for HLE. So the Herald could certainly be a place to gather that one. Next dragon going to be a Cloud. So the likelihood of double Mountain Soul in this series is very high. Because T1 often gets Earth, Wind, and Fire. Don't tell me why. It's just a thing. All right, Peanut looking for an angle that Oner finds him. The Impale comes on down. The Crescent Guard did come on through, and Peanut stayed alive for a little bit longer than he otherwise would have, but still, Delight is going to die as well, and that is two very quick picks for T1. Back in the driver's seat in an instant.
I want to see how they got behind him there. Because obviously you're expecting him to look for an engage, right, when you're threatening and you're pushing positioning in River. But what exactly happened there?
I feel like Oner was waiting in that brush
no, he was
for a very long time.
Well, he's in the banana brush. I'm just kind of surprised as to how they didn't get vision in the banana brush. Because you know that that's most likely where someone is going to hide. So I hope we can get a replay of that, because that was, I think, the fact that really cemented their death. Normally engaging onto his inside is always something that comes with a big risk, because if you don't kill him as cleanly as that he ults and you waste tools on a champion that will auto you twice and then be at half health again. So yeah, just didn't check it. Flash E.
Yeah.
So clean, and even though the ult goes off, you can see it doesn't matter. The Impale's there. The follow-up of the Rakan, very clean as well, and the Delight goes in trying to salvage the plate, create some space. Not gonna be the case, and now that Herald, as we are now learning slowly, also a valuable teamfight tool.
Yeah, it's a defensive teamfighting
Let's
tool.
look. Yeah.
As, Peanut thought that he knew what was going on. But he didn't.
No, that's...
Just wanders past. That is going to be the Rise actually picking up the Drake here, as Peanut not able to find a steal. And like I said, it's going to be a Mountain Soul as Faker once again phase rushing. That's going to help him out. And does find a Rune Prison onto Zeka here, who's looking to slow down Oner, but Keria gets into the backside and will be able to find the Talia. Seraph's not going to keep him alive. And it's Oner that actually gets the kill. I'm not sure about this one, Gumayusi, as there is an exhaust, but the rest of the team make their way over. Peanut gonna be cleaned up by the Scorpion.
Oh no, not the TP!
Yep. And the triple kill now for Oner, as Zeus looking to try and salvage the play, but instead I think he's just lining the pockets of his former teammates, and Viper is dead as well. That is a clean ace, somehow, for some reason, at 17 minutes.
And just like my 4th year of high school slipped away, this game might be slipping away from HANWHA. Atlas as the turnaround is immaculate. Take another look here. Try to look for Oner. Obviously, he's able to get out. But it's this long flank from Keria that just catches them off guard. The route from Faker starts it off. And then, I think, just give up Zeka.
Or flash into the Dragon Pit with your teammates.
Yes. And then, HANWHA, you can't be falling for this. Guma going in like that. Come on!
Yep.
That's too juicy. That's obviously bait. As you highlight, it's just a clean ace, and now they are at a 5k gold deficit.
Yep. The game has just disappeared for HLE. One thing to note, though, is that there are 4 players with the same scoreline, which is pretty cool.
I do truly appreciate your ability to see that kind of angle in a game that I'm now very afraid is cooked, Atlas. Oh, come on now. That's not...
Oh, no, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
We've seen worse.
Atlas, give me worse.
Okay, so have you seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yes.
You know the Black Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like gets his arms and legs chopped off.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah, just a flesh wound. This game, very similar to his opinion on stuff, you know? And with optimism, you never know what you can achieve. As Delight's going to have to press ult, just don't know whether it's going to quite be enough. Does get missed by the Impale, as Zeka trying to do damage where he can. In goes Peanut, looks for an angle onto Gumayusi.
But just don't have the damage.
Yeah.
If Gwen's not there and Zeus can't be there, then they don't have the damage.
Now teleport.
He's dead.
Oh, dear.
Come on.
Well, he may have a circle, so I think he might be all right, as it's Keria that makes his way in. Faker is inside the circle, though, ready to do damage.
Okay, he's not dead. Sorry, I was getting a little... Oh, he's dead.
He is some dead. However,
Unless...
he does have a very nice shove.
A chance, Atlas?
And you were talking about lacks of damage. I see Oner's name on the screen, and I'm like, someone gonna die. But not when he's playing Skarner, necessarily, and Doran wasn't able to follow up quite enough there. Still, doesn't really matter. It's 5.3k gold the lead, and so with all this poking and prodding being done by T1, they will still just be able to put on that pressure, make things happen, as Oner with item number 2 now complete as well.
Yeah, and, you know, game number 1 for me was mostly about Doran, but now I'm seeing this, I'm like, we haven't had one in a while, could be an Oner POM.
Could be. I mean, this is
this
most
one
impressive Skarner performance that we've seen, I think, almost ever.
Yeah.
Since, like, Skarner was broken and, like, first picked every game.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Remember Top Skarner?
Oh,
when he would just W people?
Yeah.
That was so silly. Silly old Scorpion.
Yep. He was a little strong. As
So,
looking for Otacon.
I guess they're now 5k gold up, so they can just start Otacon on spawn and not care.
Yep.
And they're just going to get it.
Looks like HLE are not going to be able to do anything about it.
No, they don't have second item spikes, so they can't really contest this.
Yep. And Faker is only going to get more and more
Atlas,
terrifying.
I feel robbed.
Yeah, I know. We were supposed to get a 3-gamer. It was supposed to be happening. The draft looked fine, but then they died all at the same time, and that was a negative play, as it turned out. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to put numbers in the first and third columns, not the second one.
I don't know. I'm not great at math.
It's more just like location observation.
Oh, I know.
You know, just
I know.
Doesn't matter what the number is, just put it in the outer column.
1 or 3. That's, you know, we're still using numbers. Come on, give me a break.
I mean, okay. First or third. Oh, I guess it's still numbers.
Left or right?
Left or right. There you go. There you go.
No middle.
Yeah, no middle. Don't go. It's not as Aussie rules football.
There's a lot of middle gaming for HANWHA Life Atlas.
Yeah, a little bit too much middle gaming.
They are holding on to those 1-2-2 KDAs, though. Really only Viper's lagging behind.
Yeah, so Viper needs to die another time, grab a couple of assists and a kill, while the rest of his team doesn't get any.
Why can't... That doesn't work, because if he gets
that's still the task, okay? Oner could be in a little bit of trouble here, but Gumayusi is there to defend. Takes half the health bar from Viper in an instant as the redemption comes down to try and keep them safe. Teleport's coming in, they're on a timer now as the cleanse out from Viper. He's keeping himself alive. Gumayusi now right in amongst the enemy team with 0 mana. He'll be dead as now Keria off to the side and Doran gets in, finds the counter-strike onto Viper. The flash out though, and Viper is fine. The snip comes through. The blast cone though gets Doran back in the fight to dominate HLE, and now Peanut having to run his way out. That's a seismic shove though, that's going to help out, and he finds the big rock. Down goes the Jax, and now Peanut realizes that maybe it's safe to go back in and do battle, and it in fact is, and it's an even fight for both teams, but T1 gets the Drake, and so theoretically still a bit of a trade up, but look at that money. It is down about 2k.
That gold lead is shrinking. That's all we could. That's all we could ask for.
Yep.
That's all we want. As in game 1, we did not see any circus performances, but in this one, bring in the trumpets because we are having some fun as the entire team collapses, trying to save the play, making sure that Oner doesn't just die. Well, that part works, but Guma, way too deep, ends up going down. And then it's, even with Viper going down the door in there, he stalls for so long, which
allows... If this blast cone wasn't here, it would have been, like, completely over for T1, but instead, Doran gets to go back in.
I think the situation is always really hard, and he does have, like, Leap Strike would have been up relatively soon, right?
Yep.
But it does mean that they're able to keep him in the pit. But with Zeka getting the flick, taking down Doran, even though it was just barely, the game's still not in a great spot, but it's, you know, it's better. It's only now like a...
And it's also like a fight like that, despite the fact that they're not ahead.
Is it time?
It's the tempo vibe.
It's the tempo vibe.
That's what you can salvage. T1 still has the majority of them, but HLE, you get that taste of victory.
I actually wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on, despite your monumental discovery in league analysis, none of the other regions have seemingly picked this up yet?
Oh, that's okay. Seismic Shove is going to push back Oner here. I prefer not to talk about it because I was quite distressed with the fact that we did make leaps and bounds, but no one else has really read the scientific paper. But that's okay. Seismic Shove pulls back Oner, but he is incredibly tanky, so he'll be absolutely fine.
Why did that get published, the paper?
The paper was in my journal. Because that's where they get published, you know, the scientific papers, the journals.
Yeah.
And so I put it in my journal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Where can we find that?
It's at my place.
So you're talking about a physical journal?
Yeah, I put it in my journal. That's what you're supposed to do. What do you mean?
Golden Age's staying stable right now.
Do you hear about when people think that they've discovered
up.
ways of treating certain cancers and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and they put them in the journals?
In the journals, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did, Chronicler. Don't make me out to seem stupid. I'm not.
I know you know
really
what
smart.
scientific journals are, Atlas. I'm not letting you get away with this.
They're like mine that I have at home.
Who did the peer review?
That was my cat. Yeah, and he was really good at it.
The line, no!
The cow, not doing so well.
He can't review anything. He's dead.
No. Oh dear. That's also the same.
Oh
as
God!
my
Don't.
cat.
No, Atlas, no! Oh, Baron might be gone soon.
I had to do it too. I'm so sorry. It was right there.
I'm so no. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. Two can play that game, Atlas.
Well, T1 can play the Baron game. They are very good at it. They're going to start this one up right now. Zeus looking to try and stop it, but they have no information.
TP's coming in.
Yeah. Well, at least Peanut is going to be able to make it towards the pit. But Doran gets in, goes golden, and that is enough space bought here. As Zeus now trying to do some of the needlework, as Delight's also made his way back through. But that is going to be an impale only onto a cow. But I think T1 are okay with just giving over their Scorpion, if it does mean securing the Baron.
Ooh, this might mean, though, that HANWHA get Dragon, if only they had another Drake, and they would have gotten Soul Point. That might actually, like, between mid-turret, you take out Oner, which means that they don't get to be out on the map for the next 30 seconds. Maybe it could have been, like, kind of okay, but now I don't think it is. Besides, it's T1, so maybe they just still contest the member down. I could see him do it. Wouldn't shock me one bit.
Yep, might go for a bit of an angle as Keria is moving on over.
They should go to HANWHA. They're a member up. There's no Smine on the enemy team. There's no jungler.
Or T1 just goes and takes this inner turret. I mean, they're probably going to get that one anyway because, of course, they've got Baron, and it had about a sliver of health. So they are just going to give the Drake, but it's about what else they can take on this map. And you can see already Faker is moving over towards that top side. Unfortunately for T1, they've kind of taken the majority of the easy turrets so far in this game. It is 5 turrets to 2.
They are suffering from success.
Yeah, it's a fair bit of suffering from success. They've cashed in on all of that money as, yeah, this was just Faker realm warping his way in, the rest of the team already being there.
Yeah, so someone has to walk up and reclaim vision, right? And unfortunately it was the light, which is what sets up the Baron play. Great job there by Keria and Doran, zoning them away, not allowing Peanuts to get anywhere near. And then here, Oner probably in hindsight could have played it a little bit safer there. I don't think he had to die in this sequence, given that it looked like Doran was already able to get out. And, still had flash available as well. But it's just a Dragon for HANWHA life, and they took, like, what, half a minute of this Rebel Baron power play, but it's still not looking good, Atlas.
It is not. They're going to have to go for another fight, I think, if something is going to be positive here for HLE. As T1 still looking to play aggressively. Siege Minion still being troublesome here around this last remaining inner turret, as Viper doing his very best to avoid getting hit by the rockets and the rocks and all sorts of stuff that's being thrown his way. That's all right.
They're holding on, though.
They certainly are. Like, I don't think HLE think that they've lost the tempo vibes completely. They're still playing like they can keep themselves in this series.
And if they believe, that means that they're there.
Exactly. That's the point. It's about the vibes, not about the reality of the situation. That's in my journal. I can bring it in tomorrow.
Please do.
If you do want to check it out.
I
did illustrations.
I'll take your word for it. Those I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
I'm not a gifted artist, but I do like to use pencils.
I'm sure anything you draw would be wonderful to look at, Atlas. I'm not worried at all.
Oh, I'd probably add a little bit of worry if I were you.
No. No.
That's fine.
Because it's made by you, so I'm going to appreciate it anyway.
Aw, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Come on now.
That was the energy that you were giving
No,
out.
I
It's
know.
just a
I do
little
that.
too
That
much.
does happen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think HANWHA actually is going to come back? Because I really want to believe,
okay.
but I don't know if I'm being a little bit
I don't think they
delusional.
will, but I do think they can. They have it in them. Son, you've got the potential.
That's you talking to HANWHA, right?
No, that was my parents talking to me, and it made me very upset. Sorry. Yes. That's what.
Atlas,
yeah.
you're on the LCK. You won an Emmy. You don't get to play that card. Get out of here!
I mean, it was relevant back when they said it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ancient history. Don't bring that up.
Yeah, and then I reached my potential. It was great.
You were a
Just didn't like it
potential
at the
man,
time.
but you actually reached it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, T1, they have the potential to win this team fight as well, but the rocks are down. There's the closing on to Faker, but he goes golden. There's the double impale, but the redemption is there to try and keep them alive. Keria's going down low, but they've already lost the jungler and the cow. Now Viper is trying to fend off Doran, but I don't like his odds in that fight. And Gumayusi stays alive. And now Doran is just inside the enemy base, as he is wont to do. I don't know whether it's necessarily a good idea, though, because this counter-strike is going to do nothing, and then he's going to die. As T1, they do win the fight. They do lose 2 in the process, so it's not necessarily a wash.
Yeah, it was looking like that fight was really gonna just go their way without so much as a hitch. Could even be a game ender, but I want to see what actually... So the stalling that comes through from the redemption is big. It's also, these are the 2 tankiest members, right? Delight and Peanut, so they don't actually go down that quickly. And then I guess it's just Zeus actually being able to both draw a lot of attention, and even though he doesn't get... He got so close to killing Guma, by the way. If Guma doesn't have flash there, he just ends up dying.
And it's probably a double kill as well, because
yes.
Keria is not exactly going to be able to fight a Gwen.
No, that was very close, because then, all of a sudden, they are down Guma, they are down Keria, and then maybe Doran wouldn't have gone quite as crazy, right? Because I think Doran also went more aggressive than he had to.
I think he was in the middle of going crazy.
Yeah, I don't really quite know
what
the timing there was. But that could have been an actual window back. Still not bad for HANWHA, because do remember, as long as this game goes on, this gold lead, as long as it stays the same, loses relevance, right? It's just going to mean less and less as we get deeper into the game. I think the next team fight, though, that's going to be the big difference maker. That's going to tell us whether we're going to a game number 3 or not. And I'm looking at the item spikes, Atlas, and I'm not feeling too hot. HANWHA do have 2 stopwatches, or 2 arm guards, rather. But that item up on Guma, that is tough to deal with.
Not to mention Doran as well, as True Shot Barrage not going to quite find the mark there, as Nice Seismic Chovy is going to connect, but Oner is very tanky. As you were saying, he gets redeemed as well, which he gets hit by the redemption for the heal. Saying redeemed really doesn't help sell what was happening in that situation. Is nice flick over the wall there onto Oner once again. He's going to have to flash to get out of that one.
Zeka.
And I mean, if you hit him with 3 in a row, then you probably do kill him.
Yep. 2 was enough to force him to retreat into his jungle. Just a Scorpion. I guess you can't lick your wounds because he's a Scorpion, so I don't think that really works.
I was about to ask, do Scorpions have tongues?
I imagine they don't, but again, we don't know enough about biology to have this. That's never held us back before.
Yeah, that's not in my journal.
Are we getting... Oh, that's nice.
I did recently...
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. So Viper got it with the...
Yep, nailed it.
That was nice.
And then Peanut got... Yeah, very, very cool. Okay.
By the way, yeah, we're past...
Yeah, we're past... I was looking at the clock and I'm like, hang on a second, it's past 20.
Yeah, I guess you just want to make sure Viper gets Zeus 4th item, which they're not actually going to hit. Would have been big if he had it for this upcoming fight.
He gets a bit more ability haste, so there's something. But still... Not exactly the greatest position. You're exactly right.
But you also can't take Dragon and give them Nash because you don't have Soul. So that's never a trade you want to take. I
think you also want Zeus to be on an extra item. Looks like he's finishing Zhonya's as well. Does have the needlessly large rod. Hadn't actually broken his arm guard yet, so I think he was almost able to go for Magic Pen instead, but decides not to, as T1 just grouped up with full vision of this Baron area.
Yeah, they might just want to send, who's currently pushing the top wave, you might just want to send Zeus because he's the only one that can actually make a play. But look at Faker as well, hiding in the fog, looking for a Realm Warp angle. So the moment that HANWHA Live overextend anywhere on the map, like Team 1's going to go for a snap play, right? Either towards Dragon or towards Nash. But because HANWHA Live got that last Dragon, T1 can't go for the classic, we just overload Drake and you get Nash but we get Soul, in which case it's still worth it. As are we just, is that just the whole game now, like trying to flick Oner over the wall, this exact spot?
trying to collect yourself a Scorpion, much like they did in the first episode of Alien Earth, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'll get to it. You've been praising it a lot, so that means a lot.
It was very good. Actually, I did quite like the sort of like Scorpion alien metaphor.
Oh, there you go.
At the very beginning.
That's what we wanted to see.
Oh,
and then Zeus knows his old team as well, so he's like, yeah, I can't actually do this because they're gonna start Nash, which they're not. But HANWHA don't know this. Don't forget, there's no vision for HANWHA in the pit right now.
They were using Peanut the human ward to make sure that they knew exactly what was going on.
They take control back. One ward still going unseen, but Banana Brush control taken back. And look, T1, another ward there in that pit on the dragon, making sure that it's not getting snuck away.
Yep. Absolutely fantastically done. Another wave getting picked up here by Zeus as well, getting closer and closer to 3 items himself. As Faker lying in wait, seeing whether anyone is going to take the bait, see whether the Rise is over there taking the dragon himself. And this vision battle is being won by T1 right now. They've got so much extra information. As that Banana Brush ward, definitely going to be a good one.
These item finishes, Atlas, they're imminent. For a number of the members. Doran, I think, should be getting close to Maul. Zeus, obviously, has a slew of components, although he doesn't really need to finish his Zhonya's until he breaks the arm guard. Void stuff done for Zeka, but it's Viper that we're really looking towards.
And here's the back from Zeus as well. What is he actually able to put together? That is going to be the question as he's in base. And the Void Stuff is actually done. He keeps the components. Big. That's fantastic. That was a hefty price tag that he had to put together.
And both supports also just have to continuously back right, because we're just running out of wards. We're going in, dropping wards.
Yep, dropping wards, clearing wards, going back, getting more wards, dropping wards, clearing wards, and going back and getting more wards. And now we've got double vision for both teams on the Dragon as well.
Oh, there it is. Cyrilda's done for Viper. That's a huge spike. A lot of extra damage available now for him, and the slow can get a good amount of value into these short-range carries on T1.
He's actually taking free damage, kinda. Is he taking free damage? Is he taking damage?
Yeah,
he was taking damage.
But so did Oner, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But not as much as Viper. And he doesn't have a lot of sustain, so that's actually not a great trade there.
Celestial opposition going to be broken here for a moment.
That's a big deal. If he had BT, I think it wouldn't have been an issue, but Oner, more than happy to give up a little bit of health, also gets it back a lot easier.
Yep. Well, they are going to be able to clear out vision once again. And look at all of this deep vision for T1 as well. They know exactly where HLE are.
Zeka's on a ward. So many wards here.
Yeah, trying to clear things out. Standing on this blast cone. And not actually going to use it. True Shot Barrage connects onto Gumayusi. That does a lot of damage. Wind becomes lightning, but doesn't become hitting the Corki. So.
Attention, Atlas!
Oh, yeah. This is very tense. And remember, T1 still have a 4K gold lead, but it's shrinking, right? Like, it's 3.7. I need to not necessarily do the rounding anymore as Delight. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a costly face check. Doesn't actually go down. Doesn't use the ultimate, but he will need to go back most likely. Does have the redemption, and these big ones are starting to hurt.
You're also just playing with the expectations. Like, T1 they are the Baron team. That's not their whole identity, but it's a big chunk of it for the last couple of years. So they are going to force you to keep face checking, and this time they've pulled the trigger for real.
Yep, there's the information going over. Zeus looking for that angle. Not actually spotted, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop this as the Baron is just taken. Now Doran going to get flicked back, but HLE can't stop T1 from getting out because they have a Realm Warp, and now they're looking for a re-engage. Arcane Shift is going to be decent, but that flick is not going to connect from Zeka. And HLE just kind of caught napping. T1, they find the opportune time to sneak that Baron away without any recourse.
It's an endless game of rock, paper, scissors, right? Like, just every time you take a vision control, force them to face check. Take vision control, force them to face check. And every time up until this point, this is the first time T1 actually pulled the trigger on Baron.
Yeah.
By the way, like, they hadn't actually started it in earnest. But now that's the Nash gone. That is Soul Point going over to T1. And HANWHA Live gonna have to hold on for the next 2 minutes.
And dear lives.
Yep. Yeah, they do, Atlas.
And man, like, I really thought that HLE were buying ground over time, but T1 were just making sure they get all their ducks in a row to take that Baron with as little contest as possible. We saw that Peanut had no way of getting into that pit.
It's just, It's both the playing with the expectations, right? Because T1 is known for this. It's also the constant denial of vision, the fact that the CC and the poke from T1 is actually quite threatening. And then it's just repeat after repeat after repeat of that same play, and the knowledge that a Realm Warp at any point can come out and engage onto your backline as well, right? If you overextend. The T1, they are not afraid to pull that trigger. HANWHA Life, if they can hold on to their inhibitors, the Baron thus far, because it was used for Drake, hasn't actually gotten that much done. So if they hold on to their inhibs, I think the game will just continue, Atlas.
Yep, there might be an opportunity for HLE to actually, like, it's so difficult to siege this comp, right? You've got Talia, you can lock them in with walls.
They're all short range, by the way. Like, the siege for this comp is not great.
Yep. And if you're diving on top of an Alistair, you're not feeling fantastic. There's the flick back, not able to get Oner over the wall, as now with the Crescent Guard, Peanut looking to keep himself alive. True-Shot Barrage does a lot of work, but Doran buys a lot of time as everyone's going golden. Keria looking for some angles with this quickness and not actually able to find quite the value as Zeus almost just dies as Viper gets in front of the rocket. And Zeus keeps himself up with that arm guard. Still T1. They win the health trades. As now the Scorpions driving in. The Realm Warp comes down as well. Viper keeps himself alive though. But still T1 have broken open the base. And man, this play is so disciplined from T1. No one dying, but look at their base. It's in shambles. The wall now going to come down, trying to convince T1 to leave. Oh. And at least at this point they're going to acquiesce, but they're going to do so with an 8k gold lead.
Oner kind of stunting on him there, not getting hit by the knockback. Viper, the teammate that everyone dreams of, happy to jump in front. As if Oner dies, that's huge. They just don't have a way. Oner just runs tunnels through that wall. As we take another look here, I think HANWHA Live, they know they have to go. Eventually the turret will break just from the pressure of the minions. But look what happens to Zeka off on the side here. Faker finds him.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah, that was an absolutely ungodly amount of damage, which is what leads to this situation, even though Zeus, I think, actually would have ended up being fine because he had the stopwatch. Viper, if he doesn't catch that, and Zeus misses the stopwatch, Zeus dies, the game just ends. But because they don't have the Talia, so much zoning goes away. Then optimistic Realm Warp there, because it does actually cost Faker his flash, but they do get the mid lane inhibitor. And now they're just going to keep on sieging, but top lane inhibitor wasn't taken yet. Doran's trying to make sure that that's not the case in Sin Zone. To Jax, it just feels bad. There's nothing you can do. And there is that second inhib, Atlas. How is Zeus there?
Well, he is there. I assume he used his legs in order to get up there. I don't know. Or his mouse, I guess, as his legs are digital.
Sure.
That is how the Gwen made it towards the top lane. Still has teleport available, so didn't use that.
And now you can just overload the bot lane as T1, and people will have to deal.
Yeah.
You can just keep chipping away, and guess what? You're also setting up perfectly for the Drake in about a minute 20. And HANWHA Life, I think we're going to have to see...
They have to win about 3 perfect team fights in a row. As we can see, though, with the fact that waves are now being shoved over and over again into HLE, if, you know, for the next minute and a half, things might be okay.
I actually think you just have to win one fight. We're getting to the point in the game where, like, one decisive fight win, and you do actually just... You can just charge up the Nexus, right? Like, we're getting to the point where the next fight probably going to take place at, what, like 43 minutes for this Dragon. If you lose, like, a 1-for-4 trade, the fight truly goes horribly for you. Could very easily end up being a HANWHA Life comeback and that promised game number 3, but I feel like T1 have so much control. They're playing so slow and methodical.
This is the thing, it's the discipline that they're playing with. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, that's 6 items. Full build here for Faker. The Rise is going to be so frightening. Not to mention, Oner has about 11 Zeka health bars right now, as we can see. So this Garner is going to be so hard to get through.
He's pretty beefy. Keria has an arm guard, by the way.
Yeah, he's also doing pretty well, as HLE do manage to secure their red buff. That is actually a decently big deal. But I don't know whether they're going to be able to contest for this Dragon.
So this is the problem. Like, Peanut, you can't give over soul, but you might lose your base if you go in here.
Yep. And Delight wraps around, does see Doran on that flank angle.
Spotted. They're on vision.
Yeah, there's a counter-strike. It just catches Zeka, and there is the Dragon going down. The Realm Warp to deliver the rest of T1, but it's only Faker that comes in. Still, Doran gets himself out. The exhaust is onto Peanut. Not exactly highest value, as Zeus will block off the entrance. And Faker just buying some time
That's
where
one.
he can, but still able to get one of these kills. Still, Zeus gets into that backline, has to go golden, not out of the woods just yet as he does flash dash, but still dies. And now Doran being a menace, but will be going down himself.
They have to keep going!
Yep, the wall comes on through as Zeka is trying to buy the space. A flick back on Oner once again, but he gets the impale. And Gumayusi does so much damage, so does Viper though. Keria uses that arm guard, and now Oner is tanking for days.
Look at the base!
And Viper is a monster. Gumayusi gonna get taken down to the GA. Oner is pretty much invincible as Peanut gets out of the brush. They're able to take down the Corki, but he almost kills Viper. And Oner is immortal. He is just impossible to kill. So thankfully, they're just going to be able to back away now. And yeah,
Whoa.
the game is likely still over because these minions are so annoying.
The game is still afoot!
I
they
thought it was a game.
They lost Drake, so like, oh my god, if that fight goes a little different, that might be the end of it. Doran finds the angle. They're getting a lot of damage down, but it takes a while for the rest of T1 to actually show up. Faker does end up going down, and if Zeus had stayed alive for longer, that might have been enough, but he ends up getting turned on by the entire team, has to stop what's very early, and then despite his flash, Keria is able to protect Guma, keep him safe, but the light gets Doran back in his team, and Viper just gets to shell out so much damage here. If that flick back catches Keria, I think the fight might look completely different, because it actually sets up Oner for a pretty decent impale. Then Oner also goes in. He's actually the one that kills Zeka, by the way. If he doesn't find that flash E, it might have been a disaster, but now the Hail Mary Baron!
Well, it's going down extraordinarily fast. Oner gets headbutted out, so it's Peanut that's able to lock down the Baron. Still, Doran going golden, but the knock-up will interrupt! All right, the Realm Warp to try and get T1 out of there. They will leave, but the Baron is now circulating HLE, and they have a man advantage.
So no soul. I think HANWHA Live to have to full ascended. Doran's dead for another 50 seconds. And it's just a regular season game, but it's much more. It's the fight for second. It's HANWHA's attempt at finally getting back to Genji, to T1's level.
Oh my goodness.
They have to keep going.
Zeus goes in. Yeah, they just need to take down these turrets as
You can't
quickly as
stop.
possible. 34 seconds.
They have soul. You need to make the most out of this Baron push, Atlas.
Yep. Peanut, can he find an angle in here? As this is the longest game so far, I'm pretty sure, in rounds 3 and 5 in the Legend group, especially between these two teams, as T1 have 2-0'd them every single time.
Top lane Inape is back up. There's one more super minion trying his best.
Yep, there is the Weaver's Wall. Faker goes golden, but it's not going to save the turret. The Impale's only on to Delight, and they get on top of it!
They got him!
Down goes Faker, and now Keria trying to be the hero gets into the backline, but my god, the damage as HLE tear through T1, and this will be a series chronicler. This is not even the series win, and we're losing our minds. This just means we get another one out of HLE and T1 here today.
The journal knew! The tempo vibes were still there!